Hello and welcome everybody, and thank you guys for joining me again. My name is Wilkie and I'm here with another guide for a Lost Ark, or actually a legitimate guide slash walkthrough. And today's topic is gonna be the Akrasia Express event. So in case you're not familiar, if you're currently making a new account or you have an existing account on the Russian server of Lost Ark, you will get the option to have a so-called Akrasia Express character, which essentially is a jump character, which if you finish all of the, or some of the missions, not all of them, but actually if you select missions of this event, you will get to a gear score of 870, and I already started upgrading my gear a little bit, so I'm at 871. So, what this thing is all about and why there is actually a necessity for a guide or walkthrough will become more evident in the later sections of the game. Last but not least, there's two things that I want to give you guys on here. This is going to be a two-part guide. I may be making a third one. I'm not sure yet if there's a need for a third one. The second part of this guide is going to contain a wall a lot of people are hitting with the third mission on the first page, which is the Blooming Salient Homeland quest. It's not very evident and it's not super clear on how to do this, so I did make a separate video, or I'm currently making one, in order to explain how that works. The first section, like this guide you're currently watching, is going to talk you through a very starter, fresh account on, if you never touched Lost Ark, a few pointers on what to look out for, what to focus on, what not to worry about at the start, and just giving you guys a rough idea on how to progress with the game, with the event. Not worry too much about these stuffs outside, because this is a timed limited event, so I highly suggest that you're trying to get the gear out of the event first, because everything else you will learn naturally as it progress through the normal quest, with the event quest, and simply by playing the game, asking others, watching guides like these, you will understand more and more of the content that's coming towards you. Because right now the most important parts are getting your item level up, your gear score essentially. And in order to do that, I'm going to walk you through the starting steps of this special event. So, we are here on a different account that I made specifically to show you guys how the Akrasia Express event works, or a few things along the way. So we're just going to create a new character. And the first thing that I want to give you guys on your way here is that if you make a character with the Akrasia Express and delete it, you're going to lose this, well, I guess I want to call it privilege, to make another Akrasia event character. For Russia right now, that means two things. If you're not from Russia and EU or any other country or continent in the world, you can just make multiple accounts since they're free, and you can always get one of these accounts. So essentially you can pretty much get as many characters as you want for free by simply making multiple accounts, which is a very good feat, especially if you want to try out classes without actually putting effort or money into it. For that matter, we're just going to do another Devil Hunter, since that's the one that I'm currently... We're going to call this Akrasia Devil, since I'm currently most familiar with that class. And we're going to click on Akrasia Express. Yes, it also tells you, blah, 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 blah. Boom. So, start game. Pretty much, we're just going to go Ascension mode. This sort of drags you through the tutorial, so as a new player, I suggest doing this one for your first character. It doesn't really matter. So settings, correct everything, just standard. So once you're starting out and doing this, you're gonna be ending up with, or in, an area you've obviously never seen. Unfortunately, you can skip some of these things, but they don't take too long. Not gonna spoil you either. This is just some story-based stuff. So, no matter if you played the game before or not, doing the jump character Akrasia event, you're gonna end up in Tricyon with Beatrice, which is essentially the place where you change classes or fulfill your job change. Because right now we're still like the base hunter, I didn't really pick a class yet, despite clicking on the classes in your character creation screen, all you do there is basically decide the looks, because every subclass looks a bit different. So there you go. Gotta swap mouse buttons around because I do like walking with my LMB, not my RMB. I think so, at least. Yeah. But that's totally fine. Anywho, like I said along the way, deleting a character after you assigned it with the Akrasia Express locks you out of making more of these. So never delete a Akrasia event character, no matter how bad the class you think is, because you're not going to get it back, and it may prove useful later in the game. If you want to try out new classes, simply make a new character or a new account and make a new character. Alright, so like I said, this is pretty streamlined, there's nothing more you can do. We're gonna do Devil Hunter, end class, yes. And we're gonna pick Devil Hunter. I decided my fate. Nice. So after the initial yada 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 here, you'll be able to enter the real world of Lost Ark. Now, as a new player, this is gonna be fairly complex. Even if you watch guides or something, you're gonna have, well, I wouldn't call it a hard time, but there is stuff that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to you. So we're just gonna leave this place, essentially getting us into the real world. There's gonna be a tutorial section that's coming up now. We're gonna skip this. I highly advise you're gonna do this tutorial. It doesn't take long. Usually it shouldn't take you longer than 5 minutes. So pretty much if you're unfamiliar with the game, you're like, okay, I suggest doing this. We're gonna receive this, yes, boom, there we go. It basically just tells you how mobility works, how dodging works, combos, skills, blah 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 blah. We're not gonna cover that, we're just gonna click on leave, boom. As a new player, I highly suggest you do this at least once, because pretty much afterwards you're essentially done with what you need to do. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that's coming up. We're just gonna close everything that's opened up here. First of all, we're gonna open the inventory. First of all, reverse mouse, there we go. This is what I wanted to do, much better. Anywho, so we're gonna open the inventory. There's a bunch of stuff that you are getting. Just activate everything you have in terms of emotes. You're gonna need emotes for certain quests. Just activate everything you got here. This is a costume. Either put it in your storage or just leave it in the inventory. Doesn't really matter. These materials are upgrade mats. Don't worry about those for now. Just put them here, or we're just gonna store them later on. So this is one of the most important things. These are potions. These are items for your ultimate skill. I would advise not using those things until you understand what consumables are and how they work, what they're used for, because they may be handy for certain things. Just gonna open this one. It's gonna be another horse. All of them are the same, it's just a color difference. So take this one, activate it. Same goes for here. There's an area in the game where you can't ride on a horse, but you're gonna ride on a ladybug. Just pick the color you want. For mounts, the key is Alt V. It's gonna open the mount menu, and we're just gonna apply this one, and now it shows up here in this icon. Alright, platinum coins, you can sell those. And this is the most important part about the Akrasia event. So right now we're on item level 50. And we're on a base 261 skill points. This is your baseline if you've never played the game before. You're just gonna open this, take all. And let's just say there's not a whole lot about the statistics and stuff you have to worry about, because all of this gear is gonna be replaced anyway. So just equip everything you got here, including accessories. I'm not going to cover gear stats and everything because, like I said, this is something that is in a different guide, or should belong in a different guide. This is a pet. Activate it. So now you have a pet, and I think it's Alt P. So this pet is account wide. On any character you can activate it or not. It doesn't take anything to keep it running, and without paying any further gems, it just picks up stuff. There's other stuff that you can like get buffs from. Not really important right now. We can withdraw it, now it's gone. Just call it, and there we go. So the feature night is a gear piece too, but we're gonna cover that later. First of all, what I would advise is click on this hammer here, which is dismantling, click on green and dismantle, so you get rid of the basic gear. Alright, so you're now past the first step to get done and start with your Akrasia Express. We're at item level 325. You've unlocked certain dungeons we're going to cover later on. And this is essentially how you start out with the whole Akrasia event and how you're going from there. In the future, if you clicked or if you closed the windows at the start that popped up, this is the icon you're going to click on, this little present box here. And the special mission tab is the one that will further boost your gear score. There's character and inherited power growth. They don't really fall into the place with the Akrasia event. Doing the Akrasia Express will naturally allow you to do this. For example, see, reach item level, I'm not sure why it says 380, probably 280. Boom, received, we got 5,000 shilling. So for special missions, this is legit the down and dirty things. The most important things you want to notice is this event lasts until next year, the 13th. I'm not sure if it's January or February, but essentially you have time until next year, which is plenty time, even if you don't have a whole lot of stuff to play. The big things are you need these tokens to upgrade your gear. All of the other rewards are convenience used for something else. You don't really need them. The key things to get or try to get are these boxes. Up until the Kaiser's Flame Equipment Chest. This is the last piece of equipment that you'll get from the Express. And afterwards you're going to be entering the normal game, if you will. And you're going to be able to progress as anybody else. So this is essentially your main goal that you're trying to achieve. So for example here, the first one tells us if you hover over this, it'll tell you Chaos Dungeon Complete Burn, Echoes of the Past, Stage 1 or higher. We're going to do that. Also, clicking on these orange icons here will give you certain legacy quests, which are definitely worth doing. So we're just going to click on these here. And it'll just tell you how to do the map, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just going to skip to a certain thing. We're just gonna TP to Chaos Dungeons first. I'm gonna see if I can get a Chaos Dungeon, and I'm gonna meet you at the end of the first Chaos Dungeon run. So remember, this is something a lot of people are not familiar with. So like I said, your main goal is to do quests and to try and complete these missions in order to learn the game. Chaos Dungeons are this little, I'd like to call it winged statue. Every major city has these. For example, Bern is a major city in the continent north. Bern. Arthentine, Stern is the main town. It also has this here. East Lutheran has Lutheran Castle. You get the idea. Every main town has these. Every sub-town, if I'm saying something, you don't get these. So in any other standard town, you don't get these things. So essentially, just check what we needed to do, hover over to complete Burn, Echoes of the Past. It has nothing to do with Burn itself, because the region is called Burn Castle. It says here. There we go. Echoes of the Past. I just spaced out there, my bad. So you can opt in to do this one here, you can opt in to do this one here. For starters, I highly suggest do this one. Click on match. Don't go in there alone. Alright, we got lucky, we got this one matched instantly. I didn't do any about skill builds. I didn't talk about anything whatsoever. So I'm using the standard skill build the game gives you from the get-go. It's usable. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's okay. It'll usually be enough to carry you through your first Chaos Dungeon. So yeah, like I said, this is what the game kind of gives you here. I'm just gonna do, or essentially what Chaos Dungeon is in a very brief succession or explanation. You're just gonna murder these mobs here, try to get that percentage up. Once you reach a certain percentage, there's gonna be a portal in the center. You're gonna enter through, enter a next area, you kill mobs, and there's gonna be sub-bosses, you kill those. After a certain percentage, there's another portal, and you're in the final area, and then that's it. As you can see here, I'm not really trying too hard. I'm just clicking some random buttons as somebody who's new to the game would be doing. So just do that. Last but not least, like I said, I'm gonna cut this out here and come back after the Chaos Dungeon is finished. So see you in a bit. So we're in the second room or floor, whatever you want to call it, and on the minimap you see these orange icons, which are sub-bosses, but like I said, nothing really has changed. Just for a quick pointer here, this is what it's going to be looking like. Alright, this is one of the portals that I talked about, and by clicking that, I'm just going to let somebody from my team click it. You're going to be asked to enter the next floor. I guess I want to clear these mobs, so let's just do that really quickly. It doesn't really matter if you clear all of them or not, because you're always going to be able to get the percentage up and running in the next floor. But I guess those are a bunch of new players, so that's perfectly fine. So, density is low enough. We're going to click on that, accept it, and let's enter the last floor. So we're about to near the final stage of our first guide section. We're gonna be able to clear this dungeon in just a few seconds. You can see we're almost at 100%. And that's it. Once you tick 100%, the dungeon stops and you're done. Don't worry about anything you get in here. Don't worry about the gear you picked up. Don't worry about the materials. They're not important right now. For you, really, from the get-go, all you need to know right now at this point is how to clear the Akrasia Express and just pick up bits and pieces of the game as you go along. So we did the first thing, and boom, we have now completed the first express mission here. We received Akrasia Express tokens. So first of all, you see there's a lot of items that you got there. As per with the other thing, dismantle, boom. As far as the materials go, like I said, don't worry about those for now. You don't need them anytime soon. Go to warehouse, there's a materials tab, click on this icon here, and maybe this one if you want. Usually you don't have any of these. And this will remove some of the clogging of your inventory. Opening these, you get 6 tokens, 1 per each equipment, so helmet, weapon, yada yada yada, you get the idea. The next step that you want to visit is the NPC with the hammer icon. I'm not sure if we can see it here somewhere. There it is. TP down there. And like I said, as you go along, just do any of these quests. I know this video is longer than I anticipated, and I'm very sorry about this, but there is a little bit of intake here. So we're just gonna talk this guy through. Essentially, all these quests are talking you through how to do anything, like how to upgrade and stuff like this. So by clearing that, we're finally done. So now you can see this hammer icon. This is the first NPC that you're going to be visiting. Click on any of these items, and first of all, you get to treat your equipment until the treatment is 100%. So for these items, you don't really need anything but silver. Luckily, you have enough silver. Click on max treatment. Do that for all pieces of equipment. That one's fairly straightforward. There's no failing. There's no nothing in this process involved. It just essentially is the stage until you can actually upgrade. So as you can see now, I can click on reclamation. It's probably going to be a different translation on NAEU. And you can see here, we're going to make this from level 0 to level 1. So if you hover over this or click on it, you can see item level 325 into 350. Click on that. Since this is event gear, there's really nothing else you need to worry about. These are the stats that you're now having on these pieces of equipment. So we're just going to do this really quickly here. And I'm going to end this first section of the guide on a note here. I know a lot of people are having trouble with further stages in the Akrasia Event Express, and I'll cover that in separate videos, because like I said, if you're starting out, you're nowhere near even hitting the wall a lot of people are currently complaining about. So let's just let that sink in and be done there. Alright, so last piece of equipment here. And you're done with that. So now we raised our item level to 350. So we did actually complete some other, we did some tempering, blah, blah, blah. So the next step on your journey would be complete burn, or is it? Charm of Resonance stage 1 or higher. So just for sake of completion, the next step that I'm going to be doing in this character to show you guys further up ahead is I'm going to be doing this dungeon. We're going to do jump on the horsey here. And as the final piece of information, these guide quests are just, like I said, handing you through how the game works. So just do them and read them. So we need to do a dungeon called Charm of Resonance. Okay, it's Resonance Charm, but you get the idea. So like with the other stage, I generally advise doing the lowest one you can, because if you fail this dungeon, you're going to be locked out of entry, and you can only do Chaos Dungeons twice per day. So especially for a starter, if you're unfamiliar with this content, always do the lowest one you can in order to maximize your chances. I'm going to be back with the second guide after I cleared this dungeon, tempered my gear, and then we're going to talk about future steps that you're going to take. Hopefully this was useful, especially for all the newcomers in Lost Ark. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff to take in. The game is very complex, and there's a lot of stuff, especially if you have a jump character, there are a lot of mechanics that you're not familiar with. This is essentially just, like I said, focus on the Akrasia Event Express. Everything else will come over time. You'll read it, you'll learn about videos, other people will explain the content to you. Because literally all of the other stuff is not really important until you get those chests. Because unlocking those chests will unlock more content for you, different quests, and explain you how to do certain things. So, last but not least, this is all for guide number 1. I'm not sure when I will be published guide number 2, hopefully soon. And I hopefully see you guys next time, so keep your eyes peeled. As far as the rest goes, I stream usually every Monday on 1700 CST, so feel free to check me out on stream. I usually stream a variety of games, including Lost Ark. Anything else, you can hook me up on Twitter, or I do have a Discord, so if you feel like joining that or having a chat with me or the other people, feel free to join there or that. As far as the rest goes, I hope to see you guys in the next video, and stay safe out there, and have a good time.